right, guys, welcome back. Another day, another video. We got a couple of things to talk about, so let's just jump right into it. And here with the first thing, which is probably the thing that has been dominating a lot of the gaming headlines in the last 24 hours or so, is PlayStation apparently jumping back in to the handheld gaming market. This is an exclusive report here from Insider Gaming, and here is what it says. Following days of speculation, Insider Gaming can report there's a new PlayStation handheld in development, codenamed the Q Lite, and it is a handheld that you will need a PlayStation 5 to use, because it's going to be a handheld used for remote play. And as we know, remote play is the ability to play games from your PS5 on other devices, local streaming. You actually can do it currently with like an iPad or a phone right now. At least on the Xbox, you can utilize all these devices, and I believe as well with the PS5 you can do that. So it is a pretty cool feature if you're in your house and your console is being occupied on the main TV, but you still want to play. Remote play is something that I've used before, so something that will be beneficial to people out there that utilize this feature a lot. But it says Insider Gaming understands that the Q Lite is not a cloud streaming device, but instead it uses remote play with the PlayStation 5, a feature that console giant has been pushing these past couple of weeks. It says sporting adaptive streaming up to 1080p and 60 frames per second. The new device will require constant connectivity to the internet, and it says the console's physical features, early prototypes show that it will look a lot like a PlayStation 5 controller. So the DualSense, I'm guessing, would just say screen in the middle with a massive 8-inch LCD touchscreen in the center, supports adaptive triggers and haptic feedback. It will include what you would expect from the handheld: volume buttons, speakers, an audio input jack, etc. So really interesting here that PlayStation is looking to get back into handheld gaming, and something that will literally only be able to be utilized with a constant internet connection in your home with the PS5 for remote play. Now, there is a couple of things that I actually like that I think is pretty cool here. It is going to have the haptic feedbacks, and if you're a fan of the adaptive triggers, those will be there too. I'm not a big fan of those, but at least it has those features that you have on your PS5 controller, so that experience will be identical basically if you're playing it natively on your PS5 with the controller, or if you're playing it with the remote play device. So that part is cool. And the other interesting thing is they're not following everybody else right now who is just making these cloud streaming devices. As we know, cloud streaming is in its nascent market right now, but it is growing. And with things like Xbox cloud gaming, it really is something that makes sense for a lot of people, just to be able to stream a large catalog of games via a subscription service and not have to wait for those games to download. Now, I'm not a big fan of that. I actually like the Steam Deck as my handheld device, and I also like the Nintendo Switch as well, but I like those because you're playing games natively. You could download them right onto the device and you don't have to rely on Xbox cloud gaming, although that is available and it does work well. I like having games natively downloaded on my handheld console. So this isn't a traditional handheld console, but it is surprising. It is surprising that they would jump back into this, but I feel like this is going to be a much lower cost entry into PlayStation, maybe $100 compared to maybe like a $200 or $250 device. And even something like the Logitech G Cloud, which is literally just streaming, it won't be near that price either, which I think will be attractive to some people. Especially, I mean, if you have your PS5 on your main TV and it's always occupied, now you're going to have a dedicated device where you don't have to worry about that anymore. You're still always going to be able to play. But you think about the PlayStation Vita, and I love the PlayStation Vita. I still have mine. It is a phenomenal handheld. No matter how badly it did in terms of its overall success of people not adopting it and them canceling it early, it is a phenomenal handheld. PlayStation just decided to end the support on it because I don't think enough people picked it up and played it. So you would think that that would deter them from trying to jump back into the handheld market. I mean, for a couple of reasons. You have Nintendo right now that really dominates it. I mean, the 3DS destroyed the PS Vita. The Nintendo Switch is the main handheld device out there that most people like to use. And you would think PlayStation, why would they be investing more money into creating a handheld, especially with PSVR 2 out there, which seemingly isn't doing as good as they wanted to be? You think they'd want to put more money in that? All of these different factors has me scratching my head why they would want to jump into the handheld side of gaming. There's a lot of rumors with PlayStation right now and new hardware. We have PS5 Slims rumors, PS5 Pro rumors, the discless PS5 rumor, and now this handheld rumor. And we have zero confirmation on any of this stuff. And hopefully, if PlayStation has a showcase this summer, we will see a lot more information on all the stuff that has been coming out here in terms of the PlayStation hardware. And then we'll jump over here to some other pretty big news here. And it is that Xbox has acquired another studio. Now, this isn't like a Activision Blizzard or a Bethesda style of acquisition. This is just another studio that is going to be added to ZeniMax Online. It says here, it looks like Bethesda has acquired Nemesis Games in Budapest, Hungary. The studio will now be known as ZeniMax Online Studios Hungary. The team is working on Elder Scrolls Online as well as unannounced projects. And this comes via this post here from Nemesis Games saying, big day for us yesterday. We have joined ZeniMax Online Studios as the new hiring location here at Budapest, Hungary. We go over here to their website. You can see it right on their homepage. We are now the new co-dev partner of ZeniMax Online Studios. We have been working on many aspects of their flagship titles like Elder Scrolls Online, as well as unannounced projects. We are proud to be a partner of such a high caliber AAA studio. And I mean, here are some of the other games that they have made. You have World Traveler VR. No, obviously, I don't know anything about that. Fortix, ACS, Ignite, Pursuit. These are the games that they have made. It's not the best looking websites, you can say. It's not the most it's not the fastest, as things just aren't really loading here, but they aren't like these big AAA style games. But the most interesting thing here from this entire post is the new unannounced AAA title that they are working on. So obviously ZeniMax Online, Bethesda, they needed more people in there to help working on this new title, and we'll wait to see what that is. It'll most likely be something similar to an Elder Scrolls, maybe a brand new MMO. Who knows what it's going to be, but good news in there if you like ZeniMax Online Studios, if you like Elder Scrolls Online, that there is something new coming down the line. Finally, let's talk about a quick update for the Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisition. The CMA have added an update to their timeline, and we know that the deadline for them to make a decision is April 26th. That is the statutory deadline to publish a final report, which we will know what is going on by that point, whether this deal passing, whether it's blocked, what remedies are going to be going through, all that type of stuff. But April 12th now, 2023, which is literally next week, is the final deadline for all parties and response submissions. So anybody who wants to get in there and give their responses and rebuttals to all the stuff that has come out, April 12th next week, which we may see some new information on the Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisition. And then by the end of this month, we'll have a decision. And then we'll see when the EU makes their decision. We know they've been pushed out until May 22nd, but hey, they could come to a decision earlier than that. That is just the deadline. So it's getting very, very close to the, I guess, finishing up of this entire thing with the CMA and the EU. The biggest question as of right now is going to be the FTC. What are they going to do? I'm assuming they're waiting for these final decisions from the CMA and the EU, which will definitely help push their decision in one direction or the other. And they will decide whether they're bringing this thing all the way to court on August 2nd or if they're going to make a deal before that. And then when it comes to the FTC, there's this article here from the Wall Street Journal, which is kind of giving a very interesting look at where the FTC is in terms of what they stand for. They really just want to push forward their power and say, hey, we are the ruling trade commission here, and you're going to do what we say. That's what this sounds like, as the FTC and Chair Lena Khan overruled a in-house judge's decision over another merger. It says the Federal Trade Commission on Monday overruled its own in-house judge and ordered gene sequencing giant Illumina to divest cancer blood test startup Grail. FTC Chair Lena Khan is showing that the agency's administrative trials are a sham. It's heads and the agency wins. It's tails and the businesses lose. An FTC judge in September issued a 203-page opinion rejecting the agency's complaint that alleged the Grail acquisition would harm potential competitors and in the embryonic market for multi-cancer early detection tests. So obviously this has nothing to do with video games, but it's just an example as to maybe what the FTC will do as well with the Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisition. I mean, the power that they have to be able to overrule their in-house judge. And it says here, but some companies that were interested in buying Grail or that were developing their own cancer tests complained that the FTC to the FTC that Illumina would thwart rivals. This was the gist of the FTC's complaint, which the agency's in-house judge dismissed after a detailed analysis of the facts. Administrative law judges are rarely so scathing. It says the Clayton Act protects competition, not competitors. And that's what Judge Michael Chappell wrote, emphasizing that antitrust theory and speculation cannot trump facts. He concluded that the FTC had failed to prove its case, that Illumina had the ability and incentive to help Grail to the disadvantage of alleged rivals. So I'm not going to go over everything that happened here, but basically they went against this. The FTC commissioners disagreed with the judge 4-0, even though the judge says, these are the facts. What you're arguing makes no sense, essentially. And there's no way this is going to be anti-competitive. The FTC says no, it is going to be anti-competitive, forcing this company to create a divestiture, not be able to acquire the company that they were trying to acquire here, which would be Grail. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens with the Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisition. It's kind of showing that how much power the FTC has. I mean, again, if they're not going to look at the facts, they just want to show that they are strong and nobody can mess with them. They may end up trying to do stuff like this, trying to just block deals to put their stamp on businesses so that they think twice before trying to go out and make these major acquisitions. But I'm going to leave that there, guys. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.